This is our site for the window seat. Tight. Definitely tight. Oh dear. Okay, now I'm just going to pause the video there for a minute because I think there's a bit of explanation required here. First of all, right now you're thinking that I'm an idiot who's built something the wrong size, and I'll hold up my hand to say that there's an element of that true, but for very different reasons to the ones that you're thinking. I'm going to explain this a little bit with my very rusty SketchUp skills on this little model here. You have to forgive me, I haven't used SketchUp for years, so it's all a bit rusty, it's all a bit janky. But basically, for the window seat to come in, it doesn't just sort of come up the stairs sideways and slot in. You've got to bring it up and turn it around, as you've seen in the video. And it's the diagonal when you turn it that gives us the problem, obviously, because that's longer. Now, with the ½ inch or so between the baseboards and 1 inch of skirting on either side, by my calculations, that was plenty. There should be a good 5 or 6 mil spare for that diagonal between the walls. But what's actually happened is that the walls are not true. Now, I only measured the width at the height of the skirting, at the height of the baseboard. I should have been measuring it a couple of feet, 600 mil or so, higher up the wall, because what actually happens is the walls are not straight, they're not true. They not only lean in as you get higher up them, but they actually toe in towards the rear of the recess as you move back to the back wall. So it's a bit of a nightmare, and that actually gives us other problems, which we'll see shortly. So back with our installation, and it's pretty clear that there's only one thing to be done. We certainly can't make the space any bigger, so we have to make the window seat smaller, but fortunately only on one corner. So after sinking in the screws a little bit deeper, we can break out the block plane, only one thing for it, and do what has to be done, and shave a few millimetres off the back corner. And combined with a little bit of brute force, this finally gets the window seat into the recess. And it's here that we discover our next little gotcha. As the recess gets narrower towards the back wall, it's just too tight for our box to go all the way in. Now, when I make these kind of fixtures, I always try and keep the original features intact, because on houses of this age, the mouldings can often be really nice exotic hardwoods that would have been imported by sailing ship 100 odd years ago. MDF. Well, okay, that makes me feel a bit better. Anyway, with our surgery complete, we can finally move the window seat in, gently slapping it into position so it sits evenly from side to side before levelling it up and making sure it's parallel to the back wall. Then, holding it in place with some little wooden wedges, we can screw directly through the carcass into the skirting board or baseboard, first at the sides and then the back. Now, with the carcass secured, we can set about covering the gaps using the mock panelling scribed to the wall. To do this, we set an upright straight edge, offset by about 1 inch. The exact amount isn't important, and here I'm just using a couple of pieces of 12mm or ½ inch scrap taped together. Before butting our mock style up against it, and also holding it in place with a clamp. Now we can take our offset, our bits of scrap, and run this down the wall, scribing a pencil line onto our mock style at the same time. I know this looks incredibly awkward, but it's much easier to do when you're not trying to get in the way of the camera. Anyway, with our scribe line marked, we can carefully cut to this line before cleaning things up with a block plane. Incidentally, I'm using a little folding handsaw with a Japanese blade for this cut, which is a fantastic little tool that I think everybody should have in their install kit. It's just so handy. Once our scribe is cleaned up, we can test it for fit. Trimming if necessary, and obviously we repeat this at the other side, securing both pieces in place with a squeeze of glue and a few pins. We do much the same with the little infill piece at the top of the box, and these are just glued in and held in place with a couple of little wooden wedges while the glue sets, and obviously we do this on both sides. Now we can bring the hinged seat into the picture, and we know from our earlier issues of the walls that there's a bit of trimming to be done before this will fit comfortably into the recess. There's also a big bulge in the back wall that needs to be allowed for, so our little block plane gets quite a workout before the seat sits against the back wall properly. And of course, as the seat lifts up, this also needs to be trimmed so it fits within the wonky walls. There's no shortcut to this. You just have to offer it up, then trim it some more until you get a good fit. Once we have that sorted, it's thankfully very easy to screw this in place using the pilot holes we drilled when the box was back in the workshop. With the seat secured, we can tidy up the edges with a little bit of caulk and then clear up after ourselves. Oh, so there we are, a bit of a long day, bit of a gloomy end to the day unfortunately. It's getting dark and it's a wintry London evening. Oh goodness, that was quite a long day, but thanks to the magic of video, we're here a week later. I've been doing some odds and ends in this house again, and the storage is looking great, it's being used properly. The actual window seat is absolutely full, and I'm really pleased to say that customers are very happy with it. So thanks ever so much for watching. If you like what you've seen, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and share it freely, and do subscribe if you'd like to be notified whenever I post something new. Thanks for watching, take care.